Hellcat.
Hi everyone, I'm Amena and welcome back as far as to my vlog. Also, if you happen to be new here or are a repeat visitor, be welcome. Be sure to also look at the description below for all credits given. And with that said, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Okay, and now we finally get to my vlog about the Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is this is the first and only Dungeons and Dragons movie that I've seen that actually has a story that comes to a complete end. Yeah, there are probably going to be other adventures, but they give you an ending that doesn't leave you wondering if there's a thread that needs to be wrapped up, because all the bad guys are defeated. The quest is done. The character, well, when you come right down to it, the paladin character is essentially the DM's guide along the way. That's there only for a part of it, but not for the whole thing, because it's not their adventure. It's somebody else's adventure. So, yeah. I remember seeing all three of the other Dungeons and Dragons movies, and they didn't seem to end in just the right way. So, I don't know. Maybe this is. Well, I'll come back to that. Anyway, I really loved the backstory part because you need, if you're playing a Dungeons and Dragons game, your characters need a backstory, and that was one heck of a backstory. You started out as a harper. I'm assuming a harper is part of the. Well, I'm assuming that class would be a rogue because, uh, well, a rogue, a bard, uh, yeah. And of course, they're all thieves. Kind of, sort of. Well, you have a thief, a warrior, uh, a sorcerer, and a druid, who's also a tiefling. Okay, so in Dungeons and Dragons, they cannot say demon. A tiefling is basically D&D's version of demons, only they aren't demons. They're tieflings. I don't know. Well, I usually like that. Yeah. Uh, I'm not gonna say much. I did try role playing a tiefling once upon a time. However, doing it in an official Dungeons and Dragons game, I could only do it once. Her actual I think her actual name was supposed to be Lilith, but everybody calls her Lillian. And although she was full grown, she was essentially still a child. Yeah, I don't know how that was supposed to work. Anyway, enough on that. There were references to actual video games and other Dungeons and Dragons modules, if you will, such as Neverwinter, Buldurs Gate, and yes, the Underdark was specifically a D&D thing, and apparently it was also in Neverwinter. Yes, these are actual Dungeons and Dragons modules that were turned into actual video games. I don't know about the Underdark though. I know that's part of the Neverwinter game. And oh, I am not going to say too much. Just be aware. Uh, some creatures they point out in the Underdark sequence actually do appear in the monstrous manual. And them passing by can be very hurtful. no more said on that one. Oh, wow. If they do decide that this Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves, should be a beginning movie for a new franchise, I will certainly be amazed. You didn't get that with the first Dungeons and Dragons movie. In fact, the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, people didn't even think that that would ever happen. But it did. They featured, they actually featured a maze. They featured a trap. They featured a curse. They featured dragons. They, I can't remember what that floaty thing was with the many eyes and, yeah, whatever that was, they featured that. They featured dwarves and the whole thing with the girl dwarves having beards too. Apparently, that is a thing within many of the Dungeons and Dragons worlds. I don't know about you, but I think I like the dwarven women without the beards. That's just me though. So, you might write about dwarves. My dwarves will not be related to any Dungeons and Dragons dwarves. Nope. However, they might have a thing to say about forging things. Or, yeah. We'll get into that later. Either way, I think I'm going to go on to something else next time. But for now, I'm going to end this episode here and leave you all with this. If you have been enjoying my content, please feel free to leave a like and or subscribe. You can also leave a comment down below in the comment section. Be sure to hit that notification bell because YouTube doesn't always like to share. Be safe, be healthy, and as always, be true to you. Amena, signing out.